Hey, if you've ever been told an environmental consultant needs to do a site visit, there's a good chance your first reaction was something like, what are they actually going to do? How long is it going to take? And is this basically an inspection? If that's where your head went, you're not alone. So in the next few minutes, let's walk through what an environmental site visit actually looks like in real life, what happens, how long it usually takes, and what to expect before, during, and after. Hi there, I'm Doug from RMA, your environmental experts. We spend a lot of time on client sites helping businesses understand and manage environmental requirements without turning it into a big production. And before we go too far, just know, if you ever need a site visit from an environmental expert or just a hand with your environmental questions, you can reach out to us here at RMA. All right, let's jump in. First, before the site visit ever happens, there's usually some coordination. The consultant will reach out to schedule a time that works for you and ask some basic questions ahead of time. Things like whether there are any safety protocols, whether they'll need PPE or personal protective equipment, if there's any areas that require an escort, or if there's anything they should know before showing up. On the day of the visit, the consultant usually shows up, checks in, and then starts with a short conversation to get oriented. They'll likely have a clipboard, a notebook, or a tablet to take notes. Then comes the site walkthrough. Often the consultant will want an escort, someone who knows the site and can answer questions while showing them around. Other times, especially after the initial interview, they may ask to be left alone for part of the visit so they can look around and observe without interrupting operations. Both approaches are normal and neither is a red flag. And yes, they'll probably take some photos. Those photos aren't for enforcement or gotcha purposes. They're just to make sure details don't get missed later. How the walkthrough works also depends on the purpose of the site visit. If the consultant is there to do a broad-based environmental audit, they're probably going to want to see most, if not all, of the facility, inside and out. But if the visit is focused on something specific, like stormwater discharges, they're likely not going to spend time looking at air emissions equipment or unrelated processes. The visit should match the scope of the work. During the walkthrough, the consultant is usually looking at things like where materials are stored, how processes actually work, the equipment you have, where drains go, what happens when it rains, how waste is handled, and what areas change over time. A lot of the focus is on connections, what leads to what, and what happens under different conditions and circumstances. You'll probably hear questions that feel oddly specific. Things like, why do you store this here? Do you know where this drain connects? How often is this used? Has this area changed recently? Those questions aren't random. Environmental requirements often hinge on small operational details, and the goal is to avoid guessing. As far as timing goes, most site visits last somewhere in the 2 to 4 hour range. For larger facilities or more complex issues, it can take a full day. And for very large sites or multi-building operations, it may take multiple days. And just to be clear, this is not a government inspection. Environmental consultants don't have the authority to issue violations, fines, or citations. They're not reporting you to regulators. The purpose of the visit is understanding, accuracy, and making sure whatever comes next actually reflects your reality. At the end of the visit, you might get a brief verbal wrap-up. Something like, here's what we saw, here's what seems relevant, and here's what we'll be digging into next. Other times, the consultant may need to digest everything before offering feedback. Both are perfectly normal. After the site visit, the real behind-the-scenes work begins. Notes and photos get reviewed, assumptions get checked, requirements get evaluated, and all of that feeds directly into deliverables, whether that's a permit, a plan, a report, recommendations, or just next steps. So what should a good site visit feel like? It should feel professional, organized, curious, and respectful. You should feel like the consultant is trying to understand your operation, not judge it. And you should walk away with a clearer sense of what happens next. At RMA, this is generally how we approach site visits. We explain what we're looking for, ask questions as we go, point out what matters and what doesn't, and keep the focus on practical outcomes. Every project is a little different, but the goal is always the same: to leave with a clear picture so the work that follows is accurate, efficient, and defensible. So if you have a site visit coming up, don't stress. It's not something to fear. It's how environmental help stops being theoretical and starts actually being useful. And if you want someone to walk you through the process and keep surprises to a minimum, reach out to us here at RMA. We're here to help.